Economic development and education around the country. Go ahead, Brother Rasheed.
Yes, well, thank you, Brother Wallace, once again.
Yes, sir.
Listening audience, we were fortunate to put together what we believe is something that can be extremely beneficial to the whole our community and the whole world. We've created an online journal. We don't call it a newspaper, it's a journal, because we know we need to go on a journey. But inside of this journal, you can get a free college degree. But the best part about it, we've connected with some major players around the country that will now not only allow you to get a free degree, but you can also get paid to go to school, which is extremely unusual. We're doing a major fundraiser with this project to support Queen Asaba over in Ghana and the Kente Festival that will be coming up soon. I'm fortunate and grateful to God to be in a position to even help Queen Asaba. Queen Asaba will be to America what Aretha from to Africa, what Aretha Franklin and maybe Whitney Houston was to the United States.
Okay.
But everybody, I want you to listen good. You got a chance to send yourself and your children to school and gain thousands and thousands of dollars. The only thing you have to do is invest back in helping children bring up their math and reading scores to have access to all these dollars. And we are extremely grateful. If you want to contact me, is it okay to give my number?
Sure. Give us all of the contact information. Give us everything that we need so we can follow up.
Okay.
Dr. Akbar.
773-402-8299. And you can go to our website, which is www.common, C-O-M-M-O-N, cents like it's money, C-E-N-T-S, and that is secured, C-U-R-E.com. So that's commonsencecure.com. Please go there, look, contact me, let me be of an assistance. We're working and investing money back in the community all across the country. I want to be an integral part of working down in Tennessee.
Yes.
So all my listeners in Tennessee, Louisiana, and wherever the broadcasts go out to, please call this number. Take advantage of this free money and this free education. We have a solution. And remember, they will control the diameter of your thinking. Dictate the circumference of your activities. So we've got to break away from the mental incarceration to see that we can fund our own program and be able to help our children, that they can look at us and feel proud, and we can lay a platform that they can step back up on the platform of human existence as proud and productive people. There have been many who have given their lives that we will have this position. I'm thankful, Brother Wallace. I'm thankful for men like yourself who are out here using the media where we can get this message out there. But right now, with the rate that our children are dying across the country, we can do something about this.
Okay, stay on the phone with us, and we want you to, throughout the program, give us that contact information. You mentioned some very good words there, and Dr. Richmond before you was we've been talking about this mental incapacity. But I have Dr. Talut El-Amin in here with me, and I'm going to see if we can get him to respond, comment, questions, whatever. Go ahead, brother.
Good morning, Brother Wallace, to your guests.
Thank you.
On the phone and to your listening audience. You were mentioning that your program is about education, and did I not hear that it was also about economic development?
But Rasheed.
Oh, yes, you are 100% correct. If we're going to impact on violence, we cannot do that without having our own economic base. We cannot continue to put that responsibility on the back of some other ethnic group to save us. Our responsibility, that's our children, our grandchildren. So we knew we had to have an economic base, because long as they know there's funding in your program, they're going to have a voice that will proceed your voice. And so when they see you make it, because they make a lot of money off incarceration. Every inmate that goes to jail, that's a $100,000 insurance policy taken out on them. That's insured again by $250,000 by paying whoever's brokerage and insurance company, and that's $25 billion per inmate, and there are millions incarcerated. So therefore, that's then taken and put on Wall Street in what is called a bid bond. And that bond cannot be bid upon
let me, go ahead, I've got a question. Go ahead, Talut.
And my brother in 1991, I co-chaired and co-organized an organization called Commission Against Senseless Killings. And some of the stats that you're making us aware of this morning, we discovered those stats over 20 years ago. Okay, we knew then basically where we would end up at as of today. But, you know, in essence, nothing has changed at all since 91 until today.
That's right.
And it actually has gotten worse. And I think it's primarily because most of our people are unbelievers. We can't seem to get it together to believe that there are forces out here in the world that are actively seeking our demise and our destruction. We just can't seem to get that together. And so what we end up at, or the point we end up at, is confusion and delusion, you know, and actually more and more separation and disunity.
Dr. Akbar, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Do I, may I ask you a double question? I'm famous for my double question, but my mind races so fast, man, when I hear interesting things. But we're talking about solutions, and then I want to ask you about privatization of the prison system. You were talking about the money that's being made, that's economics. Has the prison system been entirely privatized? I've been reading some things about that. Question number one. And question number two, do I hear you saying, I did hear you say a solution. Do I hear you saying that the solution that you guys have formulated is ongoing and it is imminent? Go ahead.
Okay, I agree, and there are some that haven't been totally privatized yet, but if you notice, all of our institutions are built in a community. They have all the major contracts, bread, the meat, the toilet paper, everything. So it brings economic development to their communities.
That's right.
So we have to be proactive in what we're going to do. Now, when men and women are coming home from release, chances of getting employment is almost zero. Even people with college degrees cannot not be employed. So we knew we had to have a program that had to start in the institution. I've also been, for the last over 30 years, the chaplain of the Department of Corrections.
Okay.
I've watched our demise. I've watched programs implemented to make sure every man returns back within a 90-day period of time. That is not a comprehensive program, and I asked all my beloved leaders across the country, I love you and I love the great work, but where is our economic program? Unless we can employ them, unless we can employ our youth, they almost justify them some of the things that's negative. I hate to call them gangs. I call them misguided youth.
Well, they're all gangs. The police.
No, they need a product.
Dr. Akbar.
They know they need to
Dr. Akbar.
that the product is bad, it's crack cocaine. All we got to do is keep selling. Let's give them something that's morally right and positive.
Yeah, they're all gangs, the police department, the Navy. So that's a play on words where we start calling our youth gang members, but somehow it has more of a negative connotation when it's applied to African American males or men, but it's not negative if you talk about the police department or those other European institutions. So, I mean, we can be more positive. Absolutely, I agree. Now, can we look at a draft, or can we look at some diagrams of some of your programs online, or can you send something out?
Oh yeah, you're going to
and then at some point,
the country, we visited the museum in North Carolina, African American Museum, the Kiva Clark Green Museum, and we're going to be doing a lot of things. I'm creating what we call the Iconic Living Legends exhibit. It is a museum, a physical museum, or we call it an exhibit instead of a museum. But we have a portal component that we take up into the children. It is our responsibility to educate our youth. Now, we know the school system with the financial situation that the country is faced with right now may not be able to afford us. That's why we have to have our own economic base. Yeah. But I can't let that be an excuse why we don't educate
You can?
Never stop to think about what we can do. As the brother was saying, we've been done that. They have taken us and almost rented us 2 French fries short of a Happy Meal almost. And because we have brought into their total educational approach, and why should the people of the situations, those in the power to be, who put us in this wretched condition, why should they now come back and fund and help us build for our salvation? That don't make good sense to me.
Yeah. Look, can you send all ongoing information, drafts, or solutions that you have to this email address right here, Dr. Akbar? Movement 2010. You movement.
One second, let me grab a pen and I'll have it. And once again, that is what the email?
You movement 2010.
2010?
Yes. At gmail.com. Let me recount that for you. You movement 2010 at gmail.com, and we'll go from there. And we'll have you
Alphabet U.
the alphabet U, and then we'll have you come into the city, and we'll just network around the country. But brother, Dr. Talut has a question.
Well, actually, I'm going to make a comment.
Okay.
That might lead into a question.
Go ahead.
But what we have is the true issue for our people and ourselves is trade and commerce. Without trade and commerce, we have absolutely no control over our lives at all or our future. And what the problem is, it doesn't rest in an outside problem. It's an inside problem. If our people could ever comprehend the fact that we have the authority and the power to spend our money wherever we want to spend it. If we want to turn around our condition in America and in the world, we simply have to purchase services, supplies, and products from people who are like us. We're just going to have to start spending money in our own communities. And if we don't do that, what we're talking about today, we'll be talking about it 50 years from now or 100 years from now. See, there has to be a starting point. And the starting point is like right now. Okay? You know, spend some money in your neighborhood so that individuals can start hiring some of these young men that's walking around in these streets.
Okay. Brother Rasheed.
Yes, I'm in total agreement with what he said.
Okay, go ahead.
Well,
No, go ahead. No, I was going to ask you to expand on your idea of employing each and every African American youth. But go ahead. Whatever direction you want to go in is fine with me. Go ahead.
most of our organizations and churches have been orientated to take out a 501c3.
Yeah.
And hopefully become tax exempt. So
Yeah.
now that means they're looking for somebody else to give them something, be it
Right.
PepsiCo or whatever company it may be. But I ask everybody, let's use some common sense. If we're asking the organization to donate us money, where did they get the money? PepsiCo got the money out of our community. We're the one buying the PepsiCo. We're the one buying the 40 ounce. My logic would tell me, why am I going to third parties to get money? I don't want to go to the people myself. Let us dialogue and put together a comprehensive plan to go to our own people. We spend billions and billions of dollars yearly, like the brother was saying. But somebody else, that's not common sense. Every other ethnic group supports the businesses in their communities. So there's a whole educational process that's got to start, but we got to put some dollars out there where people can see the situation, that they can actually do this. And we need to be funding our own media. We need to have more media outlets.
Yes. Absolutely.
What we want to teach, get the message out there.
Yeah.
The critical need, as the brother was saying, got to spend money. If there's going to be a march, let's have $1 million march.
That's right.
The money march around in our community. That's the thing in the scriptures. You better tell them till he get read it in the Bible. It's in 1 Timothy 8:5. his own house.
Mm-hmm.
And if he lacks faith and he's worse than an infidel. Let's go through that again. This is not mine. It's the scriptures for all my Bible-believing, Christ-orientated people. Let's go to the scriptures. This is in 1 Timothy. It says, he or she who do not provide for their own and their own house, you're worse than an infidel. Yes. Now, I don't want to be an infidel.
Right.
I consider to do like my brothers say, let's put together programs, and give back to our community. When our children are looking to be able to provide for them, they'll pull their pants up, they'll do what's necessary to be right. But if we ain't got nothing to offer them, then shut up, talk about they selling crack. You're right, they're going to sell crack and everything else. Unless we provide something different for them.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me just say, when we look at the look at this landscape from the Eurocentric perspective, we see 24-hour media blitz and very few African Americans. So I think we should start talking about being before the media 24 as much as we can. I think a part of our program should be on the media, in front of the telephone, microphone, on the radio, the TV, out in the park or wherever, and get our message out. It's all about communication. Second point is this. In total agreement about economic development, because the most devastating thing when you ask anybody, the black man, African American, was the devastating effect that the diaspora, transatlantic slave trade had on the African, was the breakdown of the family. But you're right, we cannot even get that together without economic development. Go ahead, Brother Talut.
Well, for 100 years, there have been people black people, who have been promoting, campaigning, and dying to cause us to start purchasing from one another.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is nothing new. Most of us know that we're not buying from one another.
Mm-hmm.
That's nothing new at all.
Right.
Okay, like I said, it's about 100 years old. All right, but the point is this: if we don't do it, like we haven't done in 100 years, how far are we going to get? I've heard hundreds of programs, all kinds of programs that deal with all kinds of subject matters.
Yeah.
And I've heard all kinds of super educated black folks. Okay, I've heard all kinds of language crafted and structured together to try to help us mobilize into the 21st century as a people. They all failed.
Mm-hmm. But
and they failed because of one very important thing. We as a people refuse adamantly to cooperate.
That's right. That's one of the biggest African problems. It's
we
called
will not
lack of
cooperate.
cooperation.
We will not cooperate.
Right. Brother Rasheed, we've got about 8 or 10 more minutes. What I hear you saying, the whole vibe that I pick up from talking to you on the phone over the last couple of days, I sense that I can have a great degree of confidence in you and your program and the people you're working with. Is that about right?
That's correct. The website,
expand for us.
If a person lives to be over, they can watch all the information in there. But it's something for everybody. It's things that it's for teachers to go in, for professors to go in, for the 20-year-old to go in. But most important about the part about our health, we're killing ourselves by what we put in our mouth. It's our health and our economics.
Mm-hmm.
But we've got to learn to trust one another. As what we're saying, we got to bond. I think as he was saying, a multitude of examples of what can be done. But when are we going to do our own? What they got us at the table like Lazarus begging for crumbs and what we call dollars.
Mm-hmm.
As long as we continue to be waiting on someone else to support and give us what is necessary pieces, we'll never reach that. That's something we got to reach down outside, believe that innately we're great.
Okay.
Innately we are great. But what good is that greatness if we're not going to move forward from it?
Right, you're right.
I think let's do less talking and more doing. Let's set some examples where people can see, as somebody, these children and youth can see, that's concerned about them.
Right, you're right. We cannot live off of what we used to do. Can't live off of that. That's fine from a historical teaching perspective, but I agree with you that we must have a solution going forward. Brother Talut?
Yes. Well, it's something pretty simple about our condition. Individually, we're great. We're wonderful people in our own little domain. But when we come together, we become something like devils. Okay? When we take the pieces of our puzzle and bring them together, we become like devils. And what I mean by that is this. We walk out of the room having not agreed on anything. We pick each other's bones apart, and we end up in the same condition as before we walked into the room. But outside and individual, we talk all the great talk.
Yeah.
Okay? We can point to all of our problems and we can point to all of our solutions. But we can't come together as angels, working together, building an empire. See, it's 40 million black people in this America, and if each one of them once a month or once every 6 months would buy a product or commodity or service from one of their own, we'd be out of this economic condition and this ugliness overnight.
Right.
But they would not do it.
Right. Well, I think they will if we keep pressing. But you're making 2 points. One is the economic development side of it, shopping and buying and purchasing. The other is more of a personal, characterological problem,
yes,
where individually we're infected with some kind of disease like distorted ego, jealousy. That's another show,
yes,
another problem. It sounds like that would call for a serious critical examination of the self individually and of the selves collectively. We've got, how many more minutes do we have? We've got 3 minutes. Brother Rasheed, we're going to let you close us out and come back together later. How's that?
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'd like to thank everybody and listen deeply, especially what the brother was saying. If we could learn just to spend $1 for our own business, it can change our condition overnight. Critically, everybody, we got to support our own. Our thing is called 1 in a million. We use acronyms. I am what? I am great. I am going to overcome every obstacle you put before me. I got the power to do anything I want to. We got to embed that as much as possible in that we can understand to take our $1 and spend it with those who look like us. That's critically important.
Okay, well, every time we talk, we're going to be driving that point home because it's about repetition. And the more they hear it, the more they're going to be inclined to agree. And there should not be any disagreement. The disagreement should only be how we're going to get these millions and billions. And that should be... Go ahead, Brother Talut.
And those millions and billions are right among us in a basket. All we have to do is just reach our hand in the basket and pull it out. But we won't do that either. Okay? Yeah. But one day, I'm not a pessimist. I'm an optimist. So the point of the matter is one day it's going to happen. And it's up to us to drive it home. And I agree with my brother that it's going to take some programs, it's going to take some education and some knowledge and some talking and putting our bodies on the line to bring that reality.
Yes, sir. And we will be back next Sunday. Brother Rasheed, we've opened up something that one conversation won't do it justice. So we're going to have you back as soon as possible. How's that sound?
I look forward to it. Thank you, Brother Wallace, so very much. And thank my beloved brother for his simple information.
Right.
Thank you.
You just need to move on. Hearing it is one thing, acting on it is another.
You're absolutely right. But here, our theme is all African American issues, whatever they may be. And we premise that by saying, love power by Willie Hutch, the greatest power on earth. Love power. Let's take him on out. Talk to you next time, Dr. Akbar.
Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Talut El-Amin.
Welcome.
Closing comment.
Thank you. What we have to do, again, since we're on trade and commerce and economics, let's get busy. Let's start putting these dollars in our own pockets. Everybody else in the world does.
Yeah.
Every other ethnic group in the world put money in their own pockets.
And if
except us.
we don't do it, there's something wrong with us.
Something's
Yeah.
wrong. We got to get it
Love
together.
power, everybody.